Well, here are the 10 worst presentation habits in order of frequency. The most serious problem and the thing that most people do that is a bad habit is they read their slides. They read the slides, no eye contact, dress too cat, or they read their notes. It's okay to refer to your notes. It's okay to show the slide and mention what's on the slide, but reading the slide or reading the notes, not your own words. That's one bad habit. No eye contact. Notice, do I make eye contact with you? I do. Do I make a lot of... How is my eye contact working? Have you noticed how I do eye contact? Yes, I make contact with each of you, and I particularly make eye contact with anyone who's looking directly at me, and if you are looking at me and with a pleasant face, or a smile, or if you're nodding or anything, I consider you my allies right away. Well, it doesn't mean that nobody else is my ally, but in the sense that those are the people I can reach out to because I'm in some way I'm connecting. I feel I'm getting across to the people who are looking at me in a pleasant way. But I'm also looking at everyone else. And notice that I'm also moving front to back and side to side so that I make sure that my eyes take in everybody around, that I don't exclude. I try not to keep people out of my eyesight. I try to take you all in and see all of you. So my eyes are sweeping. We do this called eye sweeping right there. And sometimes they do a quick hold on somebody who's looking at me, but not too long because you don't want to make them nervous. It's not like staring at people, obviously. Okay. Dressing is very, very important. I know in some of us, I mean, like in the tech world right now, the big thing is everyone's talking about the Facebook guy because he wears a T-shirt and a hoodie. No matter what he does, that's what he wears. He always wears it. Mark Zuckerberg, who founded Facebook. So he says, everyone's saying, that guy, he just wears tennis shoes, he wears jeans, he wears a T-shirt, and he goes to major conferences, the D8 digital conference. He goes on television, and he's always wearing the same thing. Now, that's his uniform, maybe, but a lot of people are saying he certainly doesn't look like a CEO. Doesn't look professional. So people are criticizing that. So we do want to think about, that people do look at the clothes, what we're wearing, and make some judgment about that. It does give an impression. Fidgeting, swaying, and jiggling. It's always a good idea, although I didn't do it with the coins here, it's always a good idea to take your keys, your change, your money or things out of your pocket, because sometimes they jingle. It's not a problem for me today. But sometimes they might jingle even when you don't touch them. So it's a good idea just to take those things out. Number 5 problem, you fail to rehearse. Failed to rehearse. It shows. You can't fool people. People know you didn't prepare. People know that you just put together at the last minute and threw it together because they can see that you didn't think about it, because they can see that you are improvising, as they say, that you're just making it up as you speak. Number 6, standing at attention as you talk. Yes, always like this. It's a little bit hard. Some of us have to go to presentations where we sometimes have to stand behind a lectern. Sometimes we don't always have a choice. But even behind a lectern, there's a couple of things I always say. If you're behind a lectern, if it is possible to stand on the side of it. Maybe you need the microphone or something. If it's possible to stand on the side, that's better. In other words, try to keep the furniture away from you. Don't put tables and things. If it's possible to be exposed to the audience. The audience feels more positive about you when they can see all of you. And when you're behind a lectern, it's sort of like you're hiding, in a way. You're hiding from the audience. If possible, and what I like to do, if you go to my AWEC class, for example, I mean, I'm all over the classroom. I'm walking down here. I'm all over here. I almost never stand behind the lectern. I'm never standing there sitting in the stool and talking through the microphone. No, I'm out reaching out to my audience in my classes. And when I present, I try to do the same thing. It's a little hard in here to move forward here. I looked at that when I came in earlier and I thought, well, I don't know if I can move through my audience very well, but at least notice that I do try to move around a little bit. And that helps keep energy, not only in my presentation, but helps keep energy in the audience too. Okay, number 7, reciting bullet points. It's a habit. A lot of our PowerPoint slides are bullet points, and we end up talking like that. Bullet points are not explanations. Bullet points are pieces of information. So you've got to be careful that you're just not talking like a bullet point list, that you're filling out, giving us more information, telling us more detail. Speaking too long, that is definitely a no-no at conferences. If you want to find out how never to get invited back to a conference, go over time. Use somebody else's time. Go over. Yeah, that's the fastest way to do that. Number 9, failing to interest. Audiences feel betrayed when they came to hear you and they thought your topic sounded interesting, your abstract sounded interesting, but when they came to hear you speak, you bored them. And they really don't forgive you. You've been struck out of their minds, and so has your topic. They don't remember you. You fail to interest them. That's kind of a big crime in the presentation game here. You want them to remember you, because if they remember you, they'll remember what you talked about. And finally, there it is, complicated, unreadable, or too many slides right here. Again, PowerPoint is so powerful, we just want to let it do so much of the work for us. Sometimes when I've worked with NTU students and coaching them and preparing them for conferences, they come in and I said, okay, now, first thing I want to know, how long do you have to present? And they'll say, 15 minutes. I said, okay, before you show me your presentation, how many slides do you have? And they say, 36. I said, can you do a simple division problem for me? 15 minutes divided into 36 slides. How long are you going to show each slide for? And they would think, and they didn't even think about this. I mean, it's so funny how powerful this is. They think, I'll fit in 36 slides. I don't know how I'll do it. It'll go boom, 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 like that. It's not going to work. You've got to get your slides down. So they asked me, how many slides should I show? Well, I said, realistically, for 15 minutes, 3. And they're thinking, how can I do that? That's impossible. And of course, that does create an interesting problem. But if you have 10 or 15 minutes, you have to be very selective with your information. And the slides, you have to really limit your slides. Even 10 slides in 10 minutes that means 1 minute per slide, which really, if you think about it, is not much time to talk about each slide.